Hello, this is Solveig Cerrone with your Talent Management 676, and I am doing my book presentation for, let's see, from Gallup and Don Clifton's First Break All the Rules, What the World's Greatest Managers Do Differently. So, in the presentation outline, we will have topics for discussion, management myths, the conventional managers being one in a million, the four keys, the questions 1 through 12 for management, going over the meta analysis, talents and excellence, and define the right outcomes. Invest in your best and the master keys. And to begin, I'd like to quote Oscar Wilde, "A truth ceases to be the truth as soon as two people perceive it." Now, the first management myths that Don Clifton discusses are: 1, talents are rare and special. The best way for an employee to cultivate talents is to find a role that fits those talents. Myth number 2, some roles are so easy they don't require talent. So, like a nurse, what makes a talented nurse? When giving anesthesia and helping a patient be calm, it comes down to what the nurse said before they inserted the needle. Some roles are like the story by the Greek Sisyphus endlessly pushing his rock up the hill. Think about the employees. They can look at this as a tedious front lines work or getting stronger. So let's go to a word from the coach, John Wooden. No matter how you total success in the coaching profession, it all comes down to a single factor: the talent, creating the talent. Are you rolling a rock up the hill, or is this something that's going to help you grow and become stronger when we flourish our talents? The potential cannot be turned into performance without practice. Great talent needs great managers, and if they are turned to be, then they are turned into performance. So defining the right outcome is finding the most efficient route. It's always the path of least resistance, like water that can find a new path through earth and stone. The most efficient way to turn someone's talents into performance is to help him find his own path of least resistance toward the desired outcome. Now, the four keys of a revolutionary management is: 1, select talent, not just for simply experience, intelligence, or determination. And 2, define the right outcomes when setting expectations, not just the right steps. Focus on strengths, not on weaknesses when motivating someone. Find the right fit, not the right rung on the ladder when developing someone. So select, now we have a conventional manager. Conventional managers in the past have selected based on a person, based on experience, intelligence, and determination. They set expectations by defining the right steps. They motivate the person to help him identify and overcome weaknesses. Then they develop the person, helping him learn and get promoted. Now, these all sound excellent in the conventional manager, but the revolutionary manager selects a talent, defines the right outcome, focuses on the strengths, and finds the right fit. This may seem like a psychological mind game, so you can take the moment and take on a new role when you feel fully engaged. It's a mountain climb to the summit on loyalty and productivity. You are good at what you do and know your fundamental purpose. So think of base camp when you're summiting. This is the question when you get to base camp: what do I get at Camp 1? What do I give to that camp? When you're summiting Camp 2, do I belong here? Camp 3, how do we all grow? The summit is striving why the person is motivated and why they do what they do and push a little harder and desire. Now, these mind games, when we think of striving, thinking, and relating, we have 1 in a million. And when you look at some of these like analysis and assessments, you have to think of the pay raise. There's a P, the A is above the P and the Y, and you think of a pay raise. Temperature, a drop in temperature. There is a temperature that A is dropped, and there's a sure. Fallen from grace, grace, the A is dropped, and there's fallen from grace. But on second thought, there's one thought, and then on the second thought, there's a but above the thought. Think about these mind games of striving, thinking, and relating. Sometimes there's mind games in this play. Now, the wisdom of great managers comes through asking questions 1 through 12. Think about these questions and for a moment go over what you have done in your work as a manager and take this as a practice. Question 1. I know what is expected of me at work. Do you? Question 2. I have the materials and equipment to do my work. Question 3. At work, I have the opportunity to do what I do best. Question 4. In the last 7 days, I have received recognition of or praise for my work. Are these managers instilling this in your talent and yourselves? Question 5. My supervisor or someone at work seems to care about me as a person. Question 6. There is someone at work who encourages my development. Question 7. At work, my opinions seem to count. Question 8. The mission or purpose of my company makes me feel like my job is important. This is what the next generation is looking for. Continue to think about in this practice if you're cultivating wisdom as a manager and for retaining your employees. Question 9. My associates or fellow employees are committed to doing quality work. Question 10. I have a best friend at work. Question 11. In the last 6 months, someone has talked to me about my progress. Question 12. This last year, I have had opportunities at work to learn and grow. Take a moment to think about those questions for yourself in a practice and take that into your firm and company for your talent and yourself. 3 kinds of talent. There's the striving, thinking, and relating. The striving is the why, thinking is the how, the relating is the who. In relation to this, I want you to consider the 1.2 billion neurons that are in the brain. From each neuron, there are 15,000 brain synapses connecting each neuron. The more time we spend on a talent creates our strengths and what we are passionate about. When we are striving, thinking, and relating, we are cultivating those brain synapses. So then we can strengthen our talents, and your employees can strengthen their talents as well. Don Clifton has started this in a meta-analysis. So in the data that is collected, he started in 1997 with 300 stores and 37,000 employees. In 1999, they had 2,500 businesses and 105 employees in this meta-analysis. And continuing on to present day, there's 82,248 businesses and 10 million employees, where we have done the data collection for this managers and breaking all the rules. Now define the right outcomes. Managers will always use a measuring stick. They bring all the core elements into one place. Then you will create the kind of workplace that retains the talent. The core elements: focus group, factor analysis, regression group, validity studies, follow-up, and interview. Now, thinking is how a person thinks, how she weighs in alternatives, and how she comes to her decisions. Relating is the whom they trust, whom they build relationships. When you think about our managers and the 3 kinds of talent, you need to think of the striving, relating, and the thinking. Now, in the last 20 years, offering 9,000 different systems, languages, principles, and paradigms, this helps give anecdotal advice and explain mysteries of management and leadership. Now, what's important is that we continue to invest in the best. There's a misconception that we may think that if we want to raise up our average performers, that we want to spend more time with them. Managers need to spend more time with your high performers. and less time with your average performers. This way it achieves excellence because your other employees are going to be watching who the manager spends time with. Then they're going to want to do what those high achievers are doing. If you want to succeed as badly as you want to breathe, then you will be successful. Now, what lies at the heart of a great workplace? Which element will attract only talented employees and keep them? And which element is appealing to every employee? This is a practice I'd like you to think about those three questions. What lies at the heart of a great workplace? Which element will attract only talented employees and keep them? And which element is appealing to every employee? These master keys and some guidelines to follow as a manager. Give the benefit, feedback, set terms, give rates, and scoreboards. Emphasize the difference among skills, knowledge, and talents. Set up different levels of achievement with broadband compensation plans while celebrating personal best. Change recruiting practices, study, and train according to the best. These master keys are 1. Teach languages of great managers. They keep the focus on outcomes. Value world-class performance in every role. And 4. Study your best. Don't use average to estimate the limits of excellence. You will drastically underestimate what it is possible. Focus on your best performers and keep pushing them toward the right edge of the bell curve. It is counterintuitive, but top performers have the most potential for growth. In conclusion, the book review. Clifton gives new revolutionary management practices for investing in high performers and maximizing talents for your company's competitive advantage. First Break All the Rules is a new insight and deeper perspective to what great managers do differently. Jamie Solvay-Cerrone, your Pepperdine Management and Leadership Program student in 676 Talent Management. Please take a moment to think about these questions. What lies at the heart of a great workplace? Which element will attract only talented employees and keep them? And which element is appealing to every employee? And sit in your groups and discuss that. Now that you've had a moment to contemplate those questions, go over the wisdom of great managers once more. I know what is expected of me at work. I have the materials and equipment to do my work. At work, I have the opportunity to do what I do best. In the last 7 days, I have received recognition or praise for my work. My supervisor or someone at work seems to care about me as a person. There is someone at work who encourages my development. At work, my opinions seem to count. The mission or purpose of my company makes me feel like my job is important. My associates or fellow employees are committed to doing quality work. I have a best friend at work. In the last 6 months, someone has talked to me about my progress. This last year, I've had opportunities at work to learn and grow. And just tally and mark up all the ones that apply to you at your workplace. Going back to the myths of managers, talents are rare and special, number 1, and number 2, some roles are so easy that they don't require talent. Those are myth busters. We're going to break those myths and think what makes an excellent executive, what makes an excellent manager, what makes an excellent salesperson, what makes an excellent financial analysis. I hope you enjoyed this presentation on First Break All the Rules by Don Clifton, and you have new revolutionary insight on your management practices. Thank you.